What's going on, everyone? You are listening to Locked On Now NHL, local experts on the biggest stories around the ice. I am your host, Kim Becker, and thank you for making Locked On Now your first listen every weekday morning. The Colorado Avalanche went into Madison Square Garden and beat the Rangers in last night's biggest game.
The biggest game.
The Avalanche trailed by a goal after the first period in New York last night, but then Colorado put up 5 onto the Rangers in the second period and cruised into a win. Our Locked On Avalanche host explains the offensive explosion and the big win.
The Colorado Avalanche finished their 5-game road trip with a victory in New York against the Rangers at Madison Square Garden with a 7-3 win thanks to a 5-goal second period. And the Avalanche just continue to score in bucket loads, and they are the highest scoring team in the league, and they just seem to score at will. And that's exactly what they did against the Rangers. Rangers had no answer for them, and it just seemed like the Avalanche could do whatever they wanted, create opportunities whenever they felt like it, and it led to 7 goals. Now, it helped them that they were going up against a rookie goalie in his very first start ever, and that is a daunting task to ask someone who's never been in a NHL game in their life to go up against the high-scoring Avalanche. And the Avalanche took advantage of that, and they're not going to apologize for that. And this is what happened. This will be different because in a week, these two teams face off again, this time obviously in Denver. And the injured goalie for the Rangers, Igor Shesterkin, Vezina Trophy candidate early on, he should be back. And I don't know if he will be in net that game, but it will be either him or Georgiev, who did not play because the Rangers played the night before. So he's not going to play 2 games of a back-to-back. Next week, the Rangers, that's the first game of a back-to-back for the New York Rangers, the first game against the Avalanche. So who's in net then? I don't know, but it's going to be one of those 2 guys, and both of those guys are serviceable. So for this game, yeah, good win for the Avalanche. You got 7 goals. You finished that 5-game road trip 3-1-1. And next week, if you're looking forward to playing this team again, it's going to be a completely different mind frame. And it's not going to be as high scoring, I don't think, because one of the Rangers' 2 very solid goalies are going to be in net. But for now, you take this. It's a good win against a good team, no matter who's in net. And you take it, you go home, and you try to keep building on all of these goals.
The New Jersey Devils snapped their losing streak by continuing the Flyers' skid. Locked On Devils recaps a shutout win he hopes can start a new trend.
What's up? This is Trent Matthews of Locked On Devils, and here is my post-game reaction. So, the New Jersey Devils finally snapped their 4-game winless streak as they're able to come out victorious against the Philadelphia Flyers by a score of 3-0. Now, it got very physical early as JVR did a very dirty hit on Mikey McLeod. It got to the point where Mikey's face was actually bleeding, but the New Jersey Devils didn't let that stun them. They were able to go up 1-0 thanks to Jesper Bratt, who's been arguably one of our best scorers this season. Then Dawson Mercer was able to get a power play goal. The power play offense actually looked pretty decent for the New Jersey Devils. It's not perfect, still a lot of work to be done, but I was seeing the improvement throughout the game. They looked a lot more aggressive, and the fact that they were able to get a power play goal is a step in the right direction. And also, Mikey McLeod gets his first goal of the season, albeit it was an empty netter, but still, we'll take it. And as a result of pretty good defense and pretty good net minding from Mackenzie Blackwood, we were able to shut out the Philadelphia Flyers. So this is a very good step for the New Jersey Devils as they've been struggling the last few games. So this was well needed for them, and I'm overall happy with their overall performance because this was the best 60 minutes that they've collectively played this season.
But the Philadelphia Flyers face more criticism with every single loss as the losing streak is now up to 10 games. Insane, honestly insane. Locked On Flyers tells you how this one was lost and what to do next for Philly.
Russ Cohen here for the Locked On Flyers podcast. Flyers lose 3-0 to the New Jersey Devils. Don't even get 30 shots on goal. Even with the man advantage, and they pulled the goalie early, it wasn't enough. Devils were winning all the puck battles. They were faster. Dawson Mercer could just do whatever he wanted with Nick Seeler, which was an obvious good matchup for the Devils. This is again a game where Carter Hart played his best, and near the end he let that one squeak through that sat on the goal line. That could have been a third goal. I mean, he did all he can. There's a lot going wrong with this Flyers team. On the power play, at even strength, the defense is playing too loose. The zone entries are still bad. This is a big job for Mike Yeo to do, and Chuck Fletcher should have been able to bring in somebody by now with a different voice that could at least be on the bench to help support Mike Yeo. The fact that nobody is there yet has to be a little frustrating to his bosses, and I know it is to the fans. 10 without a win. 10 games without a win. I don't know what else to say.
The Dallas Stars had their 7-game win streak snapped last night, and Locked On Stars tells you how the Golden Knights got the best of what had been one of the league's hottest teams.
The Dallas Stars' 7-game win streak has come to a screeching halt. What's up, everyone? Dane Lewis here with the Locked On Stars podcast, coming to you after the Dallas Stars' 5-4 loss to the Vegas Golden Knights, ending their seemingly historic win streak that they were on. They were unable to set a new franchise record. The Stars were. Eight straight wins will have to come at a later date, and it's pretty frustrating to say the least. This is a game similar to the last time Dallas and Vegas met up. That Dallas seemed to be in control for a good amount of the game, should have won the game very easily, could have won the game, but they made too many mistakes, shot themselves in the foot, especially down the stretch. Braden Holtby did his best tonight. He played really well, especially early in the game, but his teammates on the defensive end of the ice were not doing him any favors and put him in some really, really unfortunate positions. And Vegas capitalized, and they had a really nice offensive push at the end of the game, but super disappointing loss, and there's no rest for the weary here with the Stars, as they will be back on the ice tomorrow night against the Los Angeles Kings. So you're going to want to tune into tomorrow's episode to get a full recap of tonight's loss and a preview of tomorrow's matchup.
That's a wrap for us here at Locked On Now NHL. Thanks so much for making Locked On Now your first listen every weekday. For more on the National Hockey League and your favorite team, make your second listen Locked On NHL and your team's Locked On podcast. I'm your host, Kim Becker. This has been Locked On Now, Locked On your team every single day.